Welcome to What's Cooking, New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back, Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Today we have a really great recipe of chicken tarragon, and we have Lori Burkhart here to present it. So tell us a little bit about this recipe, Lori, and what it's going to take to put this together.
Well, this recipe is my children's absolute favorite.
Okay.
It's kind of gourmet, and I'm shocked they like it. It is a chicken breast, and I usually trim off all the fat.
Okay.
And I'll saute it in olive oil, and once it's sauteed, I will take it out of the pan, and then I will add some shallots, some chopped shallots to it, and let the shallots cook and pick up the pieces of meat and fry ingredients from the bottom of the pan, and then stir in some fat-free half and half.
Great.
Rather than using the regular straight cream, the fat-free half and half works great. And then season it with some dried tarragon. It gives it an awesome cream sauce, and then you just kind of dredge the chicken in it.
Good, great, sounds great. Now you're going to notice that she did mention that fat-free half and half. It has a lot of full flavor, and yet it's a great alternative and does fit in our heart-healthy diet. So it's a good substitution to make in any recipe that you're using. So, well, Lori, let's jump right in and get started on your chicken.
Okay, well, first of all, we have chicken breasts, and I like to take them and see if there's any sort of visible fat on it, and this one actually looks pretty good. Any fat that you can eliminate is great.
And you are going to see that these are about a 3-ounce portion. So when we are looking at our meat servings, this is a great serving size. It's very filling. And you're going to notice that this is a low carbohydrate meal as well. So if you are watching carbohydrates or watching calories, this is a big factor for this recipe as well. So where did you find this, and how did you adapt it? Lori, where did this recipe come from?
I actually found this recipe on the Williams-Sonoma website. They have some awesome recipes, but they're not known for their low fat or low calorie.
Yeah.
So I took it and for a while made it with the cream and just thought, that's a little too much fat in there.
Okay.
So I tried it with the fat-free half and half, and it worked beautifully.
Great, great.
Okay, so I'm going to add a little olive oil to this frying pan here. And then put it on kind of medium-high. And we'll add the chicken breast to it and let that cook a little bit, and then I can get the vegetable dish ready to go too.
All right. All right, so what we're adding in here, you may have heard Lori say, is going to be shallots. Shallots are a hybrid between an onion and a garlic and have a very distinctive flavor. And when we caramelize those, which we're going to be doing with this recipe, you're going to have a very distinct flavor, yet they're very heart healthy. So if it's not something you've tried, be sure you look for those shallots at the grocery store. A small amount goes a long way. It's not quite as bitter as an onion and not quite as poignant as garlic. So it might be a good compromise in a family of one person who really likes onion and somebody else that's not quite as fond. A great food to add into any dish. Now we are going to be careful too. I like to make that reminder every time. Once we start to cook our vegetables, we are going to replace this cutting board. We are careful with cross-contamination. Because we use the raw chicken on this cutting board, we will come in with a new one. And actually these are set up that we can just flip this over. And Lori's starting with a clean cutting board. So make sure you're always following good food safety principles even in our own home, and avoid those foodborne illnesses.
So for the vegetables, I am going to dice them. And we'll just dice them in, or cut them into coins.
What you're noticing right now is that Lori's got a very sharp knife, and they're cutting very easily. It is safer to have a nice sharp knife the way Lori has it, but do keep those separate in your drawer. If somebody's reaching their hand in on a knife like this, they're sure to get a good cut on them. But it's just rolling right through that zucchini, and that's what we like to see. You know, this is a great recipe for this time of the year. We're just finishing out those zucchini from the garden. If you're looking for something to use those up, or if you have extra, go ahead and throw in a few extra of your zucchini. This is a great utilization of our vegetables and are also very high in nutrients.
So I'm also going to take an onion, and I like chunks of onion.
Okay.
So I'm going to take that onion and I'm going to just put it into slices.
Lori did choose the yellow onion, so this is going to be a little bit more flavored. It's going to be a little bit stronger. If you're not quite sure you want that flavor, do try a yellow or a red. Each onion will come with a different strength and flavor, so give them a try. If you're not big on onion, you can cut that back in this recipe, or if you are an onion fan, go ahead and throw in a little extra. So how long are we going to let this cook, Lori? What are we waiting? What are we looking for on chicken?
The chicken, I want it to be a little opaque, and so it's probably about ready to turn over right now. I will cut the onion and then get that turned over. We want to make sure it's sauteed and it's no longer, it's cooked all the way through.
Right.
I want to make sure.
Right, so for poultry, we are looking for that 155 to 165 degrees. You do want to make sure that your poultry juices do run clear. If you have any questions, cook it a little longer. Remember, that is the way to prevent foodborne illness. Keep it out of our danger zone, and make sure your food is thoroughly cooked. How's it looking, Lori?
It is looking wonderful.
Good.
We'll let it cook just a little more. And in the meantime, we can get this pan going.
All right, well, when we start our second pan, let's go ahead and check in with Holly and see what's new for Fit in 5.
Welcome to today's Fit in 5. We're going to work on some more balance today. Balancing is a really important part of your workout routine. Good balance really helps us in everyday life. Especially as we age, it helps prevent falls. I'm going to do that again.
Okay.
Crap, okay.
Hang on.
Had an itch. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to Fit in 5. Today we're going to focus on balancing. You know, balancing is a pretty important part of our fitness routine. The better balance we have, the less likely we are to fall as we get older. It's just one example of how balance is vital to... God, I've got to do it again.
Okay.
I think I've done too many of these today.
Yeah. Don't forget to keep the energy there. You had
Okay.
it before. Okay. Yep. There you go.
Welcome to Fit in 5. Today we're going to focus on balance. There are a couple rules to remember when you're doing any type of balancing in your workout routine. I usually like to go barefoot. It provides a little bit more stability. Shoes can tend to throw your balance off a little bit. If you're not comfortable going barefooted, make sure, to use your socks, slippers, whatever you feel like you can use that you're not going to fall and you're going to feel pretty comfortable in. Another rule with balancing, whatever foot you're balancing on, so if I'm going to balance on my right foot, that foot's going to be nice and flat. I'm going to be standing on all 4 points of that foot, and I don't really want to grip the carpet or my exercise mat with my toes. That'll actually make you fall over, and it's a little counterproductive. The last rule to remember when you're doing any type of balancing is find a focal point. So whether it's a point on the floor, a point on the TV, a piece of furniture, something that's going to help you focus throughout the movement. It's also a really good idea to maybe not do balancing exercises in front of the TV because you'll get a little bit distracted. So with those little rules in mind, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to basically just start by putting all the weight onto my right foot. When I put all my weight onto a leg, I want to make sure that the knee stays soft. I'm not ever going to lock my knee. I don't want to lock the joint and then put all my weight on it. I just want to make sure that the knee stays nice and soft. Also, again, that core needs to be engaged. So good, strong core also helps with balance, and balance helps with a good, strong core. I'm going to start by just very gently placing my left toe on the floor behind me. I can keep my hands to the side, and I'm going to lift that back leg up, and then I'm going to bring it in. If I want a little more sensation, I can go ahead and take the arms forward, and then same thing, bring it in. And I want to do this about, work up to about 10 times on each side, but work up to that. So if your balance is a little wobbly, make sure that the arms stay to the side, and you can even place that toe back down for some more support. And maybe try to do 3 times on each side, but you want to work up to 10, okay? And then I'm just going to switch, same thing, all the weight's on my left foot, toes are touching, and I'm just going to extend back and then in. I can keep the hands to the side, very gently touch the toe to the floor, or I can extend and bring it in this way. This is going to be a little bit more sensation with the arms extended and the leg not touching. That's the one. The other one we're going to do is, again, place all the weight onto the right foot. And I'm just very gently going to lift my left foot up here. And I'm going to do a one-legged bend or squat. And I don't need to come down very far. I can have my hands out here for balance, or I can keep them to the side if I feel more comfortable. And it's the same thing. I'm going to work up to about 10 times on each side. Same thing, all the weight's on the left foot, right leg is up. We're coming down, and you're going to notice that I've actually found a spot on the carpet here that I'm focusing on to help keep my balance and help me concentrate. Now we're going to increase the intensity just a little bit here. We're going to actually, again, put all the weight onto the right foot, and we're going to bend the left leg back. This time we're going to work on reaching across the body and then coming up. So just like our running motion, we're going to come in and then up. This is a little bit more challenging than the last two that we just did because we're throwing our body off center a little bit here. So this would be something, if you don't do a lot of balance work, to work up to. And then again, we switch. Again, you're going to notice I found a spot on the carpet here that I'm using to concentrate on. And same thing, work up to try to do about 10 on each side. Okay. The last one that we're going to do, I have my hand weights. Again, you can use soup cans, milk jugs filled to different levels of water, whatever you're comfortable, or you can use nothing at all. But I'm going to grab just one weight. This is a fairly light weight, and that's what we want. You can work up to more resistance later. So, remember, if you have your milk jug, you fill it not quite as full. To add resistance, you just continue to fill it fuller. So I'm going to take my feet, are both going to be on the ground to start with, just to get the movement pattern down. So you're going to be about hip to shoulder distance apart. I've got my weight up, and I'm just going to karate chop across my body. Nice and slow and controlled. Make sure this is a slow, controlled movement, and you're not jerking through. You want to control it. Again, the core muscles are going to be engaged here. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 of these, just so I have the movement. Now, I'm going to add that balance element into it. So, again, I'm going to lift one leg up. I'm going to come and swing through. Again. And then I'm going to switch sides. So I can do the same thing, both feet on the floor, and then practice on the other side 3 or 4 times. You're going to notice movements are slow and controlled. And then same thing, we're going to pick up a leg, and we're going to chop through. So you'll see you can do even the most basic balance elements. And as your balance improves, you can continue to progress and increase the sensation and increase the balance challenge. For Fit in 5, I'm Holly. Have a heart-healthy day.
Great, Holly. Thanks for those wonderful tips. Make sure you're staying active, eating healthy, and following the heart-healthy principles. Okay, Lori, where are we at?
Well, the chicken is finished, so I'm going to take it out of the pan, and I'm going to get the sauce ready to go.
Okay. So you're going to see Lori's chicken. It's well browned on both sides. The juices are running clear, and it is ready to go. Remember, chicken is one of our lean proteins and a great source of low-fat food for us to keep in our heart-healthy diet. A 3-ounce portion is reasonable for any meal, and it's going to be a great addition to any supper. So do take these recipes in and see what you can do with it.
I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil, and there are a lot of brown bits in my pan that the sauce will pick up, and it will taste wonderful. So these are shallots, fresh shallots.
Great.
Like you said, they're kind of a combination of onion and garlic. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put those in, and I'm going to saute them. It's about 2 to 3 tablespoons. I'm going to let those saute a little bit so they're a little translucent.
Okay. Lori is using a no-stick frying pan, but that little bit of olive oil is adding the caramelization to this dish. So it's going to add a lot of really great flavor without a lot of the extra calories that we'd normally have when caramelizing with something like butter. This is an easy substitution to make. Remember, our olive oil helps bring up our good cholesterol and down our bad. That's exactly what we're looking for when following those Mediterranean diet principles. So try to make that switch. Take out the butter, add the olive oil where you can. All right, Lori?
And this is cooking away. We'll let it cook for a couple, 3 minutes until it's translucent, and then we will add a half a cup of the fat-free half and half.
Okay.
And that fat-free half and half will pick up these little brown bits on the bottom of the pan, and it will give the sauce a wonderful golden color and flavor.
Great. So this is similar to like a cream-based sauce. It's going to have that full flavor without the full fat.
Okay, so those are wonderfully caramelized. And I'm going to add the fat-free half and half to it.
Okay, there we go. And this is available at any grocery store. So it's not something that many of us have thought to purchase in the past. When we're buying half and half, we do expect the extra fat. But do look for it. It's available all throughout our community, and it's really a great addition to this recipe. Now Lori's going to be adding onions and zucchini, but this recipe would go great with any vegetable you can think of. Remember things like your fennel, squash, carrots, celery, any of these will blend in there well. So be creative, find what's coming out of your garden, and add it into this dish. The more vegetables we get, the healthier our heart is going to be. We are looking for those 7 to 9 fruits and vegetables per day, so be sure to work hard to get those into your diet.
Now, as you can see, this is turning into a wonderful golden brown sauce. It's cooking down a little bit, so as it cooks down, it gets a little thickened.
Okay.
And this recipe does call for salt and pepper. I tend to salt and pepper it afterwards for taste rather than adding it. I tend to not like to add extra salt when I don't have to.
Great.
So that is cooking away, and then I will add the tarragon. And I usually add, about a tablespoon of dried tarragon.
Tarragon, again, is a unique seasoning, something that many of us haven't incorporated into our diet yet. It has a very distinctive flavor and really enhances all of that's anything else in the recipe. So really going to bring out the flavor of the shallots and some of the other ingredients. So if you haven't tried tarragon in the past, be sure to give this recipe a try.
So this is cooking down very nicely. In fact, it's disappearing just a little bit, and I will add just a little more fat-free half and half.
Okay. So what is the texture, what consistency are we looking for, Lori?
It's almost like a thick sauce or a thick gravy.
Okay.
And so then once you let that cook down a little bit, you can add the chicken breast back into it. And I usually kind of dredge the chicken in it, turn it around, kind of dredge it again. And then I'll let it saute just a little bit while I'm getting the rest of the food ready.
Okay. You may have noticed this great kitchen that we're filming in today. We're out at the Hope and Healing Event Center. This is our newest addition to New Ulm. A great place for weddings and other events, and they've been a great partner to the Heart of New Ulm. So do stop out, take a look around, and see what they've added to the New Ulm community.
Okay, so that is ready.
That looks great, Lori. It's looking really good.
All right, next we are going to work on the vegetables. I usually use a non-stick pan, but we don't have that available today, so I use just a little bit of olive oil.
Okay. And remember, 1 to 2 tablespoons is a reasonable amount. When this is distributed throughout our portion sizes, it's going to add very few calories, and it is going to help bring up that good cholesterol.
Now I have a rather small zucchini diced here, or sliced, and then I have some onions sliced too. So I'll put those in. And I'll let those saute a little bit, and I like to add just a little bit of garlic.
Okay.
You can either mince your own garlic or add this wonderful prepped minced garlic.
Right. As a reminder, 1/4 of a teaspoon is the same as 1 small clove of garlic. So about 1/2 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon is going to be a very large clove. Garlic is one of our great heart-healthy foods. If you like garlic, please add it into anything you're eating. Add it as much as possible. It's really going to benefit your heart and something that's going to improve your overall numbers when you come through your next Heart of New Ulm screening. Okay, Lori, so what are we looking for on these vegetables again?
The vegetables, I usually like al dente vegetables or vegetables with a little crunch, but this I really like to just cook it and let it just soften. So I will let the zucchini and the onions get a little translucent.
Okay.
Once they're sauteed like that, then I will add a can of stewed tomatoes.
All right.
And very often I will either kind of put my knife in the can and cut the tomatoes a little bit, or once I get them in the pan, I will cut them a little bit. And then let the stewed tomatoes with juice and all, and the zucchini and the onions just cook until they have a wonderful, wonderful texture and flavor.
Great.
The stewed tomatoes cook down a little bit also. There's the juice in the tomatoes, and it reduces as it's cooking, and it gets a nice, thick consistency.
Good. All right, well, we'll be right back as soon as Lori has her vegetables ready to go.
Go ahead.
Great. So Lori's vegetables are nice and opaque, and we're ready to add the next ingredients. So catch us up to where you are, Lori.
Okay, I've sauteed the garlic and the sliced zucchini and the onion. They're nice and soft, and now I'm going to take that can of stewed tomatoes, juice and all, add that.
Now the acid part of the tomatoes is actually going to temper that onion a little bit. So if you're not sure you're up on bitter onions, this is a good way to neutralize that flavor a little bit. You're going to really augment the dish, and yet it won't be overpowering. So a nice combination. All right, Lori?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks great. The color in that is wonderful. You can see that really fits with the color our plate idea. It's definitely got a lot of different variety to it and looking really great.
So that is cooking down a little bit, and after it's cooked down a fair amount, notice a lot of the juice is cooked away.
Yeah, yep.
So it is simmering away, melding those flavors together. I like to add the Parmesan cheese, usually about, I don't know, 1/8 or to 1/4 of a cup. I just kind of sprinkle it on and let that melt as the flavors kind of meld together. And I usually just serve it in the pan, because I like to have the crunchy Parmesan cheese on top, and we just use spoon to scoop it out.
Well, this dish has a lot of color, a lot of flavor, and a lot of nutrients. Remember, each different vegetable is going to have its own composition of nutrients. We're looking for all the different colors. So this one really meets our requirements, and it's going to make for a great meal. Lori, let's go ahead and get that plated up and try it out.
Okay.
All right, Lori, this looks like a nice, beautiful, completed dinner. You know, I really love the color of this, and it looks like it's going to be really filling with not a lot of calories. So I appreciate you making this. Tell us a little bit about the heart healthy changes you've been making, Lori.
Well, I love to bake. I love to cook, and that's my downfall. So about 2.5 years ago, I joined Weight Watchers and proceeded to lose about 68 pounds. I've always been active, always walked 2 to 3 miles a day, and just needed to do diet changes and have tried to cut down. For example, like substituting the fat-free half and half for the real cream, and using egg beaters, and using a little more olive oil, and not watching the cuts of meat that I try to use also.
Great.
A lot of veggies. I really like the new program that's come out that divides your plate in fourths, and a fourth meat, fourth grains, and the rest of the half veggies.
Right, that's the new My Government, My Plate. So there is no more My Pyramid or the old Food Guide Pyramid. Those have gone away, and they've gone to the My Plate. So you can always check that out at myplate.gov. So that's great, Lori. You've made some really positive changes. You've been a role model to a lot of people in the community and at the hospital, and I sure appreciate you being here. So,
Well, thank you, Becca.
yeah, so let's eat.
Wonderful.
All right.